Bradlee, one thing that you've said a couple of times now that I think is so important for the American people to understand and embrace is that Declaration of Independence. We often say, well, it's the Constitution, it's the Constitution, it's the Constitution. But you can't truly understand the Constitution unless you understand the motivation for the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence is the why. That Constitution is the how. The Declaration of Independence is what these guys were willing to die for, and the Constitution is ultimately what they were willing to live for.
Amen.
And so if we don't understand and read the Constitution through the lens of the Declaration of Independence, that Constitution ultimately can become anything you want. In fact, it can even be ignored.
Amen.
And we see individuals in Washington, D.C., both with an R and a D behind their name, that are ignoring the Constitution. And they have no problem, Bradlee, going on national TV and saying, well, most of what we do in D.C. is not constitutional anyways. I mean, Jim Clyburn from South Carolina is your prime example. Most of what we do is not constitutional. And then you have a president stand up in front of the American people, stand up in front of Congress, and tell us that he is not going to comply with the constitutional mandates, constitutional standards, and Congress is applauding them.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right. That's criminal. It's illegal. It's unconstitutional. And we become so apathetic as a people that it means almost nothing.
Yeah, and what's also interesting, too, is when I do tea parties, I'll hear these arguments, some of them, which that was an educated answer, and thank you for that. But interestingly enough, when you hear the older generation, they get mad at government. It's like, wait a second. It's not us against them. We are the government.
That's right.
They are an extension of what we allow them to be, because going back to the Declaration of Independence, we need to keep in mind that our representation derives their just powers from the consent of we, the governed. So we allow them to do what they do. If they violate the law and we don't fail to deal with them, well, we only add strength to tyranny, and so here we are.
That's right. You're exactly right, Bradlee. We always look at government as the problem. When you go out and talk with the Tea Party, and I love the Tea Party. I've been around speaking to the Tea Party since they began. I love what they stand for. I love the principles that they stand for. But sometimes individuals within the Tea Party are misguided because they look at government, that is Congress, the executive, judicial, as the problem. No, we're the problem.
That's
if
right.
there's a problem within those three branches of government, if there's a problem at the state level, if there's a problem at the local level, there's a problem at your school board, it's ultimately a reflection of you. When you have individuals in government that don't understand what the Constitution means, when they don't understand what it requires them to do, when they don't understand the purpose of government, we have to understand that it began with us.